Hello, everybody, and welcome to a brand new season. This is a brand spanking new episode of MovieKombat, and this is MovieKombat Season 7, and this season is a shorter one. We're going to only do 3 episodes of it because there are only 3 movies in this one. So this is a pretty easy one to, get on board, or if you miss one, you're good because you've only missed either one or you've only missed 2. So this is the Chronicles of Narnia, and the first movie we are watching is The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. So this is, I will say, kind of a movie I watched as a kid. I watched this when I think this movie came out when I was in 5th grade. 2005 is when this movie came out. And this, I remember watching this movie on my PSP on a flight to Hawaii because I had the UMD version, which is PSP's actual movie discs, because you could actually watch full-length movies on those discs. And yeah, I had Chronicles of Narnia, and it was not the format to watch that. It worked as a kid; it was the coolest thing ever. Would probably not hold up to anything that you currently watch anything on. But anyway, yeah. So tonight we are going to talk about the Chronicles of Narnia, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. C.S. Lewis's start to his series of the Chronicles of Narnia. And yeah, speaking of Narnia, in this season, there are 3 things I am going to keep track of, because I always like to keep track of something that, I don't know, you probably could find on your own. You can count it on yourself. I want to count how many times Narnia is said in each of these movies. We'll see. I don't know. I may have missed one or few, but hey, these are how many I counted. How many sword fights were there? Not battles. It's a different thing. A battle is not a sword fight. That's a battle. It's a war, because you could kill someone and then move on to the next guy. Not a sword fight. It's when there's one-on-one or maybe 2-on-2, something like that, when there's a fight going on just with swords. It's like how we did with Pirates of the Caribbean. And also, when did we enter Narnia? What time stamp did we get to? How far into the movie until we finally get to see Narnia? And those are the 3 things I'm going to keep track of this year. And can I see chat? I can't see chat. Is there chat going on? Is there chat? Can you... Nope, I don't see chat at all. I don't see chat anywhere. I don't see it here, and I don't see it on my phone, and I don't see it here. Let me send something. For those that are wanting to know, if you're watching this, yeah, see, mine showed up. I don't know. Maybe restart? I'm not sure what's going on there. For those that are wanting to know, if you're watching in YouTube land, you guys can check us out live on twitch.tv/Primal_Target. Normally on Mondays at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to catch MovieKombat, and that's when we were going to be recording these. I'm recording this one a little bit later because see, Alana's works, so I don't know what's going on there. But yeah, so you guys can join in, give your review at the very end when we start talking about reviewing the actual movie. But for right now, let's get into actually talking about... Oh, there's Preacher. All right. I have no idea. what was going on there. All right. So how many times was Narnia said in the Chronicles of Narnia, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe? Go ahead and throw your guesses in there. I'm going to move on to the other ones, but you guys can guess how many times was Narnia said in the first one. Fresh, how's it going? Sword fights, I counted 2. Now, here's the thing. The one fight was between Peter and Edwin, and the other fight was between the White Witch and Peter. There are 2 battle scenes, but I didn't count those because those are fight scenes. Those are battles. So there's 2 legitimate sword fights that happened in this movie. And then when do we enter Narnia? I clocked it in at 12 minutes and 38 seconds is when we actually get into the wardrobe and actually go into Narnia, thanks to Lucy. So there is that. So how many times is Narnia said in this movie? I counted a total of 24. 24 times. Maybe a little more, maybe a little less, but 24 is how many I counted. And to be fair, it's not bad, you know, considering we did this with like how many times does Christmas get said, and I think Bad Moms Christmas said Christmas once every like 5 minutes was how long it clocked in at. I think of how many times they say it so many times, and it just it took me out of it after a while because I was like actually paying attention to it. So, and for a movie that how long is this movie? It was like 2 hours. I think it's like 2 hours. Trying to find it. The length of it here on IMDb. 2 hours and 23 minutes. Kind of a long movie. To be honest. But yeah, there it is. So, yeah, this movie is definitely something that I feel. I watched this with two other people, and one of them said, it's hard as a person that grew up with this movie because it is a good movie, and I think it does hold up legitimately as its own. I think the practical effects and the CGI, there's some times where the CGI kind of looks a little not that great, but it's 2005. And honestly, when you start thinking like that, where you're like, that CGI is not that great, it's passable, but it's not that great, and you're like, oh wait, this is 2005. Like, I've seen worse CGI in movies that come out now. I mean, this movie is 20 years old now, which is even crazier to think about. 20 years old is how old The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe is. So, I think with that said, and also, like, another bonus to it is the practical effects. I love when a movie has practical effects, when it has normal, like, in real life, a person dressed up as a Minotaur, like, that's when movies can be like sustain the test of time, because that guy's always going to look like that. You know what I mean? I remember playing pretend Narnia with my siblings, and we would take turns being the lion in the closet going, "Welcome to Narnia." There you go. Liam Neeson as Aslan, I totally forgot about, but works like really well. So yeah, I think the kids do a relatively okay job. I think they do what they can, but really, the woman that holds this entire movie on her back with how much dialogue is Tilda Swinton, I think is her name, Tilda Swinton, who plays the White Witch. She has so much dialogue in this movie, not in a bad way. She delivers the lines great. She's able to be, I think, because this movie is a Disney movie, technically this is Disney produced in association with a few other studios, like, she does a great job being a Disney witch, like, evil, but not too evil that you're gonna scare kids, like they're gonna have nightmares at you. Like, I mean, there is a scene in here, obviously, when they get on the slab and Aslan is essentially, you know, sacrificed and whatnot, but that scene's a little bit dark. It's definitely that, at that point, it's probably the darkest the movie actually gets. But Tilda Swinton does a really good job being a Disney, like, witch, like Disney villain. She is a really good at being evil, but not enough evil that a kid can't watch this movie and be like, I'm gonna completely, maybe a few, you know, obviously there's gonna be kids that get scared or whatever, but it's not gonna be too scary, you know what I mean? And she does a great job as the White Witch, which I totally forgot. And as an adult that watches these movies now and kind of critiques and really tries to pick apart little things, I think she does a great job as being the evil villain in the movie. Lucy is probably, I think, the best of the kids, like, whereas Peter and Edmund, they bicker, but they bicker in a way that it just gets annoying. And then Susan is also, like, she's just a know-it-all gaslighting sister, and it's just like, oh, I knew we should have went back. It's your fault that Edwin got taken away. And it's like, really? Like, you knew, and Peter calls her out on it too. She's like, he goes, you really knew? You knew that this was gonna happen? And then she's like, well, no, I didn't think this was gonna happen. I knew something bad was gonna happen. It's like, that could be anything. Like, hey, like, yeah, whatever. So, I think that some of the other characters that were, Mr. Tumnus, obviously played by James McAvoy, and which is always kind of interesting to see, where he's now, gone above and beyond, and he's been doing movies, very big movies now, and he's doing that. Yes, the gal who plays Susan was in a Halo movie. I think it was a Halo, not Waypoint, the one that was about Locke, right? That was the one that she was in. Is it Halo Waypoint? Is that what it was called? I bet if I click on her name, bet I could find out this information. Forward Unto Dawn. Yes, you're right. As soon as we found it, as soon as I saw it, yes, she was. Halo 4 Forward Unto Dawn was not that bad. That was the one that followed Locke a little bit, and I thought. I'm also one of those people that thought that Halo 4 story and Halo 5 story, I think it was Halo 4, the one that followed Locke, I think it was almost there, and it ends right when it should have been like halfway through the game. But that's a different topic for a different time. It was just a missed opportunity. It was like someone going up for a 3-point shot, and it's like, it looks great. The ball is like halfway in the air. It could end the game. And then they just like ended the game. Like never mind. Ball game over. We're done. And then leave. And then it's like, well, he could have made that shot. Doesn't matter. We never saw it. But anyway, back to this movie. Yeah, I think it's just kind of this. I think that The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe does kind of sustain itself being, again, a 20-year-old movie. It's 2025. This movie came out in 2005. And I think it just does a really good job being what it is. It's fun. It's adventurous. It's exactly what C.S. Lewis, I feel, probably wanted a movie of this, for this book to exist as. So let's jump into some IMDb facts. Let's take a look at some cool stuff about the movie. The first thing that I like to take a look at is the taglines, which I always never find immediately. There we go. We have a few. It's been a while since we've had a few to work with. So let's take a look at some of them. We have actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 taglines to take a look in here. So let's take a look at number 1. Some journeys take us far from home. Some adventures lead us to our destiny. Okay, it's a little fantasy. It gets you kind of in the mood of like what it is, and it's not bad. It's not bad. Number 2. There are many stories of Narnia. The first is about to be told. Okay. That gets you a little hype, but you got to know what Narnia is, but it's good. It's good. Number 3 is Aslan is on the move. Again, you kind of got to know what the movie is. You got to know who the Aslan is. The next one is The White Witch Cometh. Again, kind of the same thing with Aslan. Very Disney. It does sound very Disney-esque. The next one is The Beloved Masterpiece Comes to Life December 9th. Okay. Kind of makes you think about what it is. Doesn't tell you what it is, just makes you think about it. And the last one is Evil Has Reigned for 100 Years. It's a little too vague, and that could be any movie. I think my favorite would probably be either the first one or the second one. I'd probably put the first one just because I like it when the taglines don't necessarily talk about, like, have the movie title in it. Like, it's enough to make you start thinking about it. You don't need anything to know about it. It tells you everything you need to know just in that tagline. And that was some journeys take us far from home. Some adventures lead us to our destiny, which the movie does talk about. It's your prophecy. It's a prophecy. The kids are there. They're going to do the thing. It gets you kind of thinking about, oh, it's a fantasy movie. It's an adventure. there's this whole poster with that tagline would make you think about, oh wow, there's a lot going on here. So I think I'm gonna give it to the first one there. Okay, let's see some trivia. All right. Is her name Georgie? Okay, so the gal that played Lucy, um, Lucy's reaction to Mr. Tumnus at the lamppost is genuine. So, she had not seen her castmate James McAvoy, who played Mr. Tumnus, in his costume before filming the scene. So her screams and reactions were real. Lucy's first reaction to the snowy world of Narnia is also genuine. She was carried into the set blindfolded to make her first entrance, and her wide-eyed delight reaction to all were entirely her own. So there you go. And that's the thing is, like, with a kid, you kind of, it's definitely easier to get them to be like, them reacting to that kind of situation in real time, and it's good that they were able to capture that. Okay. The next one. The wolves that destroyed the beaver's home were mainly real animals, with one or two CGI ones added in, although their tails had to be digitally removed and re-added. Okay. Their tails kept wagging while filming the scene, making them appear friendly. The trained live wolves in the cinematic film were the hybrids of huskies and Alaskan Malamutes. So they were either wolf/huskies or wolf/Alaskan Malamutes. That's kind of cool. But it's funny how they were enjoying their jobs so much. They were just really friendly dogs, so they had to CGI the tails out and then put a CGI tail in so that it made them look mean because they were having so much fun. Next one is, when the adults swearing got out of hand on set, Lucy set up a swear bucket. James McAvoy there's no L, so yeah, I don't. Mr. Tum, I always never know how to say his name right. Was supposedly the worst offender. Even her teenage co-stars had to pay their toll, though, especially Skander Kenny's. Man, all these British names. Come on now. Oh, Edwin. Okay. According to the DVD commentary. So the kid who played Edwin also was a swearing machine, apparently. Which, honestly, it checks out. I could see that kid swearing a lot. The inscription on the blade of Peter's sword reads, quote, "When Aslan shakes his mane, Narnia shall know spring again," end quote. I didn't know that. When the professor talks with Peter and Susan in his study, he smokes his pipe. The container from which he draws his tobacco is a silver apple, a reference to the professor's experience in Narnia in the first book, The Magician's Nephew. That's what I thought. So if you've read The Magician's Nephew, okay, so I had to look this up. I originally thought that the Chronicles of Narnia movies were done out of order. I always thought Magician's Nephew was the first one. It's the first one timeline-wise. So chronologically, The Magician's Nephew is the first one. It takes place, what I saw, in the 1940s. And this one takes place in 1900s. It takes place in the 1900s. And then Chronicles of Narnia takes place in the 1940s. So 40 years later. And the professor is the one that's in The Magician's Nephew. So it's not the same kids, obviously, because it's back in time. And it's 40 years before these kids are even born. So yeah, kind of interesting. So yeah, if you wanted to know why the professor was so significant in the movie, it's because he's in he's in The Magician's Nephew, which unfortunately never got a movie. And it was, I think, 2 books after Voyage of the Dawn Treader, because this season, the only Narnia movies that got made were Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, this one, Prince Caspian, which will be next week's movie, and then Voyage of the Dawn Treader, which was the 3rd book. But then The Magician's Nephew, I think, was 2 books after that, and unfortunately we never got that. So anyway, but yeah, so there is that. If you ever wanted to know why name dropping the professor was such a big deal, that's why. Or why he sat there at the end of the movie, which I didn't know. There's a thing at the end of the or middle of the credits where he's waiting and Lucy tries to go in but she can't, and he talks about how, you know, he had an experience and it's never when you want it kind of thing. But anyway, so moving on, we'll talk about some goofs. Let's talk about some goofs. Continuity specifically. When the children are running around in the house trying to find a hiding place while playing hide and seek, Lucy's dress changes from purple to brown. I didn't even notice that. Lucy got back her handkerchief from Mr. Beaver in the beginning, but it seems like Mr. Tumnus returns it to her at the end when they see Aslan walking away from the shore. However, it is likely that Tumnus is giving her his own handkerchief in the end, as the embroidery known to be on Lucy is not seen. See, that's the thing. I was confused about that too, because at the very end when they're watching Aslan walk across the beach and whatever, and then he gives a handkerchief to her, and it was like, what? I thought the same thing, and I guess it might be accidental, but it might also be exactly how they said it. It could be Mr. Tumnus's handkerchief, and it's his way of being like, here you go, here's mine, because you gave me yours earlier. But we never get told what it is. Next one is when Susan goes to practice her bow, Lucy joins her. Lucy then throws her knife at the target and hits the bullseye dead on. When the camera pans back to Lucy with a big grin on her face, you can see her knife tucked away safely in her sheath. Oh no! Oh, what? How is it that hard to do? Clearly it was a scene that was designated for that. When Lucy is talking to Tumnus after entering Narnia for the first time, she touches the lamppost, which is covered by snow. Her fingerprints in the post change positions many times. Okay, I'm assuming they gotta redo it every time. When Edmund is rescued, he has a big cut on his lip when Queen Jade, really, that's her name, Jadis, I don't know, the White Witch, and Aslan go into the tent for their meeting. It is a smaller cut, and when they come out, it is a bigger cut again. All right, well, that's how it works. All right, let's take a look at some other stuff. Is there any cool things for crazy credits? All right, there is a further brief scene with Lucy and the professor after the initial cast credits. I did notice that for the very first time. Never saw that. In the opening credits, the title, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, comes down as snow after we see the Chronicles of Narnia. Okay. The producers wish to thank... Oh, interesting. I don't want to mispronounce that, so I'm not going to read it. But they do thank a specific people. So, all right. Yeah, that's kind of some fun stuff. So, like I said, released December 9th, 2005. And budget was $180 million. Which, honestly, you kind of see it. I could expect it. I thought it was like 200 million just because of the practical effects and the digital stuff. But it's 180 estimated million to make. Opening weekend in the U.S. and Canada, it grossed $65.5 million. And then the gross over its entire run in the U.S. and Canada was $291.7 million. And that's a pretty good payday. They made their money back. Worldwide, they did $745 million. So I would say a job well done, and they got their money. So congrats on that. And then, like I said, the runtime is 2 hours and 23 minutes. So there is that. That is a little taking a look at the old Chronicles of Narnia. So, with that said, it's time to review this thing. I did watch it with some people. They gave their reviews, so their reviews will also be put into the PT score. So if you guys are wondering what that actually is, the review scale is based on a 100-point scale, which is that. And yeah, so like I said, 10 is groundbreaking. That's a movie that is going to be watched forever by anyone. Do whatever it needs to do. 9 to 9.9 is a must-have. It's going to be in everybody's collection, or it needs to be, and you're going to probably watch it a couple times a year. 8 to 8.9 is about maybe once a year or so is when you're probably going to watch it, and you'll definitely have it in your collection. 7 to 7.9 is it's worthy of owning. You may watch it a couple times every other year or whatever. 6 to 6.9 is a borrow. Means like rent it, watch it, stream it, do whatever you need to do. But it's worth watching, but maybe not owning. 5 to 5.9 is like meh. And it's like if someone came up to you, a specific person that comes up to you, you may tell yes. But some people you may just be like, nah, don't bother. So with all of that said and done, the final review. Like I said, I think that this movie does a great job doing a lot of things, and I think it's a fun fantasy movie. You know, I think when it comes down to it, it's a movie that anyone can watch. I don't think there's really an age that can't. Maybe that the sacrifice on the stone table. That's a little dark. That might get a little, a few kids. But I'd say maybe 8 and up is probably where you would go. PG rating is what this movie is, and I think it's properly rated. So, but yeah, I think when it's all kind of said and done, I would probably give this a 7.8. Now, the reason why I didn't give it an 8. Now, I know that you guys gave it a 9 and 8.3, which is perfectly fine. I definitely can see that. There's a few times where the movie kind of it's okay. It's not rocket science to get there, but I do think it is a great in certain aspects. I don't think it's like enough to be the best movie, or in the sense of, is it a marvelous movie? I don't really think it's marvelous, but I think it's worthy of owning. I think it's worthy of having in the collection, watching it. If you got little ones, you could watch The Lion, the Witch, and Wardrobe. It stands on its own, really. Like, you don't really need to go and watch the other 2 movies after this. You can, which is what we're going to be doing in this season of MovieKombat. And funny enough, I think I've only seen Prince Caspian once, and I don't think I've ever seen Voyage of the Dawn Treader. So it just goes to show this movie just holds out on its own. I think it does stay true to what C.S. Lewis put into his book, and what the adaptation to the movie part is great. I just don't think it's like enough to be in the 8s. That's kind of how I see it. But I think it's a great movie. So when it comes down to it, let's take a look at what you guys said. So Preacher gives it a 9. And then, whoops. So that's a 9. And then that is an 8.3 from Fresh. So let's go to the old calculator. And so we got that plus that plus that plus that divided by 4. And the PT Nation score is officially 7.7. So that is 7.7 out of 10, which is funny because that's pretty damn close to what I said. The other 2 gave it like a 6.8, and I think one of them gave it like a 6.5. So, or 6.3, I can't remember. I deleted it, but yeah. Or no, wait. 6.5 and a 6.8 were the other 2 reviewers. So yeah, a 7.7 for the PT Nation, and a 7.8 for the official PT score. That is going to be it for this episode. If you guys want to watch more, make sure you are subscribed here on YouTube. If you're watching in the future, how does that work? If you're watching it live, you're not on YouTube. you're on twitch.tv/prime_target, and you're being a part of the PT Nation right here and giving your review and doing whatever you need to do. Remember, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time is when we usually will record all these live for you guys to be a part of. And also, if you're on the YouTube world, make sure you go and just go over to twitch.tv/prime_target. Lana says 8 ads. Yeah, there are 8 ads playing currently. I don't know why. But don't worry, if you ever do come to Twitch, I don't run those all the time. I run those so we get an hour of streaming with no commercials. So we suffer so we don't have to. All right? We don't get interrupted as much. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to watch more, make sure you subscribe on both platforms. I will see you guys in episode 2 where we watch Prince Caspian. Bye.